morning, everyone. Just give people a moment to arrive. It's a beautiful morning. It's a little cloudy, but hi. Welcome, everybody. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes for people to arrive. So get your yoga mat set up, maybe grab some water or tea or whatever it is that you need. Just getting yourself settled in for a moment. If you have already arrived, you can start on your seat and or you can lay down if you like. Just give yourself a few minutes here. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to join. All right. So, hello everybody. Hi, I see people joining. Welcome. Hopefully everybody is feeling ready for some movement and some yoga this morning. If you haven't met me before, I'm Shannon, so welcome. Like I said, I'm just going to wait a few minutes for some people to arrive to get set up on Facebook here. If you have a yoga mat or any yoga props or anything you'd like to just get organized, go ahead and do that. Last night's practice, I was just checking in with people on how everyone was feeling. You could always leave me a comment in the comment box if you like about how you're feeling. You could also give me any suggestions of things that you'd like to practice, if that's something you want to do, or suggest anything. We will be moving, and as usual, I like to give lots of options in class, so just please honor where you're at right now in this moment, which might be different than it was last night or different than it will feel afterwards. So just giving yourself opportunities to modify, to add, delete. Hi, oh hello. So just honoring where you're at and giving yourself permission to pause and rest when you need to. If there's things I'm offering and you'd like to take it a bit further, please listen to your body and do what's good for you. We will start on our seat again. I believe I'm just waiting I'm just going to wait another minute or two because I am a couple minutes early. I'd like to get nice and close. Hi, everybody. So I'm going to offer some classes in the morning this week. Today and Thursday will be at 9 a.m. Tomorrow I'm going to try an 8 a.m. class. I don't know how many of you are up early and ready to go at 8, but we're going to try that out, see how that goes. I'm going to hopefully come up with a consistent schedule starting after Easter weekend, which is this coming weekend, which seems really bizarre. But I have classes up until Sunday scheduled, and then next week I'll start hopefully a schedule that I'll maintain going forward while we're at home. All right, so I'm going to get started, and if you're on your seat, you can sit up tall, and if you're lying down, you could take a moment to just find somewhere comfortable. And if you just joined us again, my name's Shannon, so welcome. We'll be moving through this practice this morning. I'll be giving some options, but I'll be trying to generate a little bit of heat this morning as well. Just take a moment to check in with how you're feeling in this moment. Maybe take a couple deep breaths. You could take a clearing breath in through your nose and then out through your mouth. And just notice if your mind is super busy right now, if you can take a step back from being immersed in your thoughts and maybe just be the observer of your thoughts. And with each breath, just allowing any tension to start to soften and let go of it out of your body. So releasing as you exhale. And let your inhale be a little bit more uplifting, drawing some energy in that feels like it'll be supportive. Something a little bit lighter, a bit more buoyant. And as you exhale, continue to let go. Any tension, any anxiety, any heaviness. Hi, buddy. You're so loud. When you're ready, bring your palms together at your heart. Take a couple deep breaths into your heart space. I'm going to open this practice with the sound of Om this morning, and you're more than welcome to join me, or you can enjoy and listen. We'll start with a clearing breath. Take a deep breath in. Exhale completely. And then inhale for Om. Take a moment to bow your head with gratitude towards your heart. Thank yourself for being here at this time, sharing this time together collectively with everybody else that's practicing with us here on Facebook. And when you're ready, you can lower your hands and lift your head up. I just have my door slightly open, so I'm going to give it a close because it's a bit cool, drafty. I'll get you to come around into tabletop, so hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Begin with some movement here. So your inhale can lift your heart, lift your sit bones. Your exhale could round your spine, draw your chin towards your chest. You could continue to move in this way, arching and rounding through cat and cow. You could add in some big side to side movement. You can make some big circular movements. Anything that feels good here. And then we will touch down into child's pose for a few breaths. So if you're feeling like you'd like to come to child's pose now, please feel free to do that. If not, continue to move here. And just in the next few breaths, next couple breaths perhaps, make your way into child's pose. You can make this a bit more active by lifting your elbows, lifting your armpits, popping up to your fingertips. You could make this a bit more relaxing or passive by bringing your forearms and elbows to rest on the floor. Take a couple more deep breaths up into your heart space here, and exhale to release. Soften your heart towards the floor. And just as you're ready, we're going to rise, come back up to tabletop here, just for a moment, finding some core engagement, extending your right leg back behind you here. And as you do, draw up through your core, press and root through your both hands if you like, or you could extend your left arm forward. So opposite arm to the leg that's extended, or you could reach back and grab your right foot with your left hand and begin to open it up here. Again, just an option. If you find that you're falling out or you're creating discomfort, back off a bit, okay? Stay safe out there. And when you're ready, we're going to release that side. Both hands, both knees come back down. You can pause here in the center, or you can move through cat and cow. And as you're ready, left leg extends back And you could stay here with both hands planted. You could extend your right arm forward, or you could reach back, grab the top of your left foot with your right hand and open it up here. A couple more breaths wherever it is that you are. And just as you're ready, both hands, both knees come back down. You could pause here again, or you could move through cat and cow. So if you'd like to come off your wrists for a moment, come into child's pose. If not, we're going to make our way up into downward facing dog. So walking your hands forward slightly here, lifting your knees, moving your hips up and back. And personally, I like to make some movement here. My legs are always really tight. So creating some movement by lifting your heels, lowering them down, or pedaling one heel, bend the opposite knee. Connecting to your breath here. Now if your legs are really tight too, you'll want to bend your knees, maybe root through your arms, lifting and lengthening through your spine, lifting your sit bones, and lifting your hips up a little higher here. And at any time it comes too much on your arms, just coming back down to tabletop or coming into child's pose. And when you're ready, we are going to make our way, stepping or walking forward to the front of your mat. Taking a forward fold here. You can circle out your wrists a couple times. You can let your head release a bit more. You can grab opposite elbows here. If you need to, take another couple clearing breaths in through your nose and then out through your mouth. Find some length through your spine, and on your next inhale, hands to your shins or fingertips to the floor, lift up halfway. And then exhale, let's fold back in. We're going to do that a couple more times here. Inhale, lifting up halfway. Exhale, folding back in. Inhale to lift up about halfway. And then exhale to fold back in. And then hands to your hips, little bend to your knees, look forward and inhale, press through your legs to lift upright. Coming to mountain pose. Exhale, arms by your side. So I did mention we're gonna, hi buddy, we're gonna move quite a bit today. So just modify as you need to. I'm gonna try to create a bit of heat, but if you need to slow your practice down, please listen to your body. I'm gonna try to give as many options and cues as I can, but if there's something not working for you, just back off a little bit, come back to child's pose, find something that feels more supportive. So take a breath in and reach your arms up overhead. And then exhale, hands down through heart center. We're going to do that a couple more times here. So feeling your legs rooting down, feeling the connection to the ground, really rooting through your feet. At the same time, inhale, lift your arms up overhead. And then exhale, hands to heart center. And one more time like that. Inhale. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Now, inhale, reach your arms up, press through your legs, lots of length through your spine. Exhale, bow forward, bend your knees, come back to your forward fold. And we're going to find that halfway lift again. Inhale, lift up halfway. Now, on your exhale, step your left foot back and place your left knee down. We're going to come to a low lunge. You can bring your hands up to your front leg. You can bring your hands up to your hips here, or reach your arms up overhead. And then as you settle in, lengthen up through your spine. Your hips are settling in, and then you're lengthening upwards. Take a couple deep breaths into your heart space here. Let your shoulder blades soften onto your back. One more breath in. And then exhale, hands come down. Let's step back to downward facing dog. Lift your back knee, stepping back here. Now, as you inhale, come forward to plank pose, top of a push-up, and you can have your knees up, or you can place your knees down to the ground here. Core is engaged, bend your elbows, and lower all the way down. As you come down to the floor, hands are underneath your shoulders, press down through the tops of your feet. Your toenails are pressing down. lift your chest, shoulders rolling back. Low cobra here, couple breaths. You could even lift your hands away from the floor, giving yourself a bit more core engagement. And then hands come down. You can press back up through tabletop and then back to downward dog. Take a deep breath here. Exhale. We're going to lift our left leg up and step our left foot forward. Back knee comes down. When you're ready, hands come up to your hips or hands on your front leg, or reach your arms up overhead. Settle into your hips, soften your shoulder blades onto your back, and connect into your breath. Couple more breaths here. And as you exhale, hands come back down. Let's step forward this time. Push off your back foot. Come up into your halfway lift and then exhale, fold forward. And then we're going to place our hands to our hips. Rise to stand, reach your arms up. And exhale. Hands to heart center. Coming back to mountain. Take a moment to pause. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then exhale, bow forward, come back to your forward fold. Take an inhale to lengthen your heart forward, lift up halfway. This time we're going to step our right foot back. Okay? You can place your back knee on the ground or your back knee can be lifted. Place your right hand underneath your shoulder. Turn towards your front leg, your left leg here. So back knee can be down here, or you can have your back leg lifted. Left hand on your hip or left hand reaching up towards the ceiling, connecting into your breath here. Two more breaths. On your exhale, hands come down. We're going to step back to downward dog here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. And then inhale, come forward to plank pose. Knees up or knees down. Let's again lower all the way down to the ground. As you come down, untuck your toes. Come to cobra. So elbows stay bent, shoulders rolling back. If you can lift up a bit higher, gaze forward. And then exhale. You can come back through tabletop, back into downward facing dog, or take a couple breaths in child's pose here. Deep breath in and then exhale. Come back to down dog, or from tabletop, step your right foot forward. Back knee stays lifted if it did on the last side, or you can place your back knee down, left hand underneath your shoulder. Turn towards your front right leg. You can stay here with your hand on your hip, or you can reach your hand up towards the ceiling. Couple more breaths here. And when your exhale comes, bring your hands down, push off your back foot, come to step forward, take a breath in and lengthen your heart forward. Exhale, fold in, and then rise to stand. Inhale, arms reaching up, hands to heart center, coming back to mountain. Close your eyes here for a moment, lengthening your breath. Noticing your feet on the floor. Maybe noticing your heart rate has increased. Maybe your body's warmed up a little bit. When you're ready, opening up your eyes. Take an inhale again, reaching your arms up. And then exhale, forward fold, come all the way back down. Take an inhale here, lift up halfway, lengthening your heart forward. Now let's step our left foot back. So high or low lunge, we're going to lift up again, front, hands to your front thigh, hands to your hips here, shoulders rolling back and down. and keeping upright. Now you can just start to draw your elbows in, broadening across your chest here. If you'd like, interlace your hands behind you. Keep hugging your elbows in here, okay? Second option. Third option, root your knuckles towards the floor, shoulders roll back and down, and breathe into your heart space. So this might be a bit too much of an opener for you here. You could be here, or you could be here. Couple more breaths. And when you're ready, releasing your hands down, take a moment to pop your back foot forward slightly. Place your heel flat on the floor. If you have yoga blocks, you could use them here for pyramid pose. Both legs working, both legs straight, hips squared to the front of your mat. And you could also fold in over your legs here. So if you don't have yoga blocks, you could always bring your hands to the floor. If you can't do that, bend your knee a little bit more deeply and bring your hands just above your knee. Hopefully you can still feel a stretch through the back of your legs. Couple more breaths. Release it out if you need to through your mouth. So when you're ready, you can step your back foot back a little bit again. Hands come down. We're going to step back to plank pose. So knees up or knees down here. Rooting through your arms, rooting down through the tips of your fingers, connecting to your breath, and either knees up or knees down. Let's lower all the way down again. Now, you could come to Cobra, which we did last time, low Cobra, or a little bit of a higher Cobra, or bring your hands so they're off your mat. Your fingertips come like little spiders, big spiders. Press down through the tops of your feet, coming up into finger stand Cobra. Wrap your elbows in, shoulders roll away from your ears. Couple more breaths here, or you could be lower. And when you're ready, lowering down. Let's take a moment in child's pose, or you can come back through downward facing dog for a couple breaths, your choice. And if you're in child's pose, coming back up to downward dog, we're going to lift our left leg up here and step our left foot forward. Now, lower high lunge, whatever you did on the last side. When you're ready, lifting yourself upright. Hands can be on your hips, elbows hugging in. You could have your hands interlaced at your lower back, elbows hugging in, or rooting your knuckles down towards the floor. Couple deep breaths here. Connecting to your breath, remembering to choose the variation that works best for you. If none of them are working, please find something that feels more supportive. All right, when you're ready, hands come down, step your back foot in slightly, plant your front heel. Now, again, you can have yoga blocks, and if you don't, that's okay. Hands on the ground or hands just above your knee with a deeper bend to your front knee. Squaring your hips here, folding forward and down. I mean, most of you should feel something through the back of your front leg. You may even feel something through the back of your back leg. A few more breaths here. And as you're ready, stepping your back foot back again, hands come down to your mat. Let's step back to plank pose. So you can hold the plank, you can come back to downward dog, you could come to child's pose, or if you'd like to move through vinyasa, you're going to lower up to up dog or cobra or finger stand cobra, and then let's move back to downward dog. Taking a couple clearing breaths here in through your nose, out through your mouth. when you're ready, we're going to lift our right leg up here. Step your right foot forward. Again, you can do this from tabletop or grab your ankle, give it a little help forward. Turn your back heel to the ground so your back foot points out to the side of your mat. We're going to lift up to warrior two. So, bending into your front knee here. Now, if your front knee pops forward of your ankle, give yourself a longer stride here. Shoulders back. If you'd like, extend your arms out. And then let's look forward if you can, if that's comfortable for your neck. When you're ready, bring your back hand to your hip, reach forward. Place your front elbow lightly to your front leg, or your hand can come to a block on the floor. We're going to turn our hearts open here, shoulders back. You can stay here, you can reach your arm up, or you can extend your fingertips forward. Couple more breaths. When you're ready, let's look down. Bring your hands down. We're going to step back to three-legged dog. So you can come back to down dog, or you can lift your right leg up behind you, open your hip, maybe bend your top knee, maybe anchor your left heel towards the floor. And then as you're ready, coming back to down dog, you can pause in child's pose. You could come through a vinyasa, or you can hang out in downward dog, your choice. Couple more breaths here. Okay. So either from tabletop or from downward dog, let's step our left foot forward. Right heel comes to the ground, so your front heel lines up at the middle of the arch of your back foot. We're going to come back up to warrior two here. So now my back's to you, but hopefully, let's just switch that up. There we go. Here we are, warrior two. Shoulders back, maybe gazing forward. Strong back leg here, really anchoring down through your legs into your feet. Let your upper body lengthen up a bit, and then let's reach forward. Let's bring your hand to your elbow to your front thigh, back hand to your hip, shoulders back. Stay here, hand on your hip, reach your arm up, or extend forward. Connect to your breath here. And when you're ready, we're going to look down. And again, you can move through vinyasa. You could come to child's pose. You could stay in down dog. All right. Let's come back. Let's come back down to tabletop for just a moment. If anyone wants to have a little sip of water, or just take a moment to pause while I set this up. So we're going to work on a balance on our mat here from tabletop, and we're going to build it into half moon pose standing up later. So I want to, maybe we'll just go through it here. So let's just try here on tabletop. So if you want to take a moment to just watch, I'll go through a few variations, and then you can decide which one you'd like to take. So from here, I'm actually going to start with my left leg back. I'm going to hinge my right toes out to the right, and I'm going to open my left hip up. Toes come to point towards the side of my mat. Now you can keep both hands here, or your left hand can come up to your left hip, okay? And you can always bring your hands back down. And or you can extend your left arm up. Some of you may be able to take a bit of a thigh stretch here, grabbing your foot, excuse me, and opening it up this way. So there's lots of options. I make it look really easy. It's not necessarily easy. So take your time finding the foundation, the connection to the ground. So find the connection to the ground that you have, the connection with your hand and your knee. So if your left leg's extended, take your right toes out off your mat to the side. You might stay here and just work at opening your hip and finding a lift through your inner thigh. No need to bring both hands off. I'm just gonna grab some water, I'll be right back. While you do that, take a couple breaths and then make your way out when you're ready. And then when you're ready, coming back to the center, let's take the other side, which can be very different in balance. So here, your right leg comes back, hinge your left toes out. You might stay here. You might bring your left hand, so your right hand to your right hip. You might reach up here, or you might be able to grab your foot and open it up a bit more. Connecting to your breath. And just taking your time when you're ready to come back down. Let's come back down. And again, let's find a few breaths in child's pose. Let's take a moment to pause. Reconnect to your breath. Settle some energy. Okay. All right, so we're gonna incorporate something similar like that into one of our standing poses in a few minutes, but I'll explain it when we get to that point. So either from tabletop or from downward dog, let's start with our right foot forward again. This time back knees on the ground. You could take your right foot a little wider to the right, turn your toes out, and we're gonna turn open again towards our front leg, okay? So option to stay here. Option is to reach back and grab the top of your left foot with your right hand and come back into the lunge. So deep thigh stretch. Some of you may not be able to grab your foot. Don't force it. That means you're probably not ready to come into this pose. If you have your foot, you can turn open here. Now some of you have a lot more flexibility than I do. You could come down onto your forearm on your left arm, but right now my quads are telling me that I'm very tight. So just honoring where you're at here. And when you're ready, you're going to release that. And let's come back and switch sides. So your left foot will come forward. You can turn towards your left leg. You can pause here. Some of you might want to lift your back leg, maybe reach and grab your foot, come back into your lunge, and turn open here, connecting to your breath. And then just as you're ready, we're going to release that out. And let's come back to downward dog. So when you're ready, downward dog, or you can stay in tabletop. We're going to step our right foot forward here. We're going to come back up to warrior two. Back heel comes down, plant your back foot, rise and come back up. Okay, so front knee's over your ankle, back leg is straight. Arms can extend out here. So we're going to move towards half moon pose in a moment. I'm going to give lots of cues, but let's start in triangle pose here. So let's straighten both legs out, lengthen up, reach forward. Your back hand can be on your hip. Your front hand can come to your shin, a block, your ankle, as long as you can get your shoulders back here. So you may be up a bit higher here to get your shoulders back. That's okay. And then you can also reach up with your back hand, connecting to your breath. Now, we're going to move towards half moon pose. That means there's lots of options. So look down, bring both hands to frame your front foot, and you're gonna push off your back foot and lift your back leg up. Now walk your hands forward so your hands are underneath your shoulders. If you have blocks, you can use blocks here as well. Now, both hands can stay down. Lift your back inner thigh. Open that hip up. You may bring your left hand to your left hip. Some of you may be able to get your shoulders back and maybe reach your hand up. And if not, both hands are on the ground here. Some of you can even take a thigh stretch here. Go for it. And when we're ready, we're going to step all the way forward, taking our forward fold. Give yourself a clearing breath or two. Maybe grab opposite elbows. You could sway, shake it out a little bit. Connect to your breath here. Let's actually rise. Let's come all the way up to mountain pose. Take a moment here to pause. Let's see who's saying hi. Hello. Take an inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. And find an inhale to lift up halfway. And then exhale, fold. So from here, we're going to step our right foot back. So right foot steps back. We're going to rise, plant your back heel, rise up to warrior two. Okay, so adjusting your stride, front knees over your ankle, arms extending out. Connect to your breath. Just remembering to honor your body. So we're going to come into triangle pose, both legs extending, reaching forward. Back hand can be on your hip. Front hand can come down to your shin or to a block. Turn open here. So either here, you can reach your hand up for triangle pose. Connecting to your breath. And from here, bringing your hands down, lift your back heel, push off your back foot, walk your hands forward a bit. So open your hip up. This might be your half moon pose today, or maybe your right hand comes to your right hip. And if you're opening your chest towards the side of your mat, then you can reach your arm up. And if not, you can stay here or bring your hand back down. And just as you're ready, we're going to step forward into our forward fold, taking a clearing breath or two. Let your head release. Maybe grab opposite elbows here. Take a couple more breaths. And then let your arms hang, maybe ragdoll up to stand by pressing through your legs, rolling up one vertebrae at a time. Breathing in all the way up to the top. Good. Okay. So, pretty active practice today. And we're going to do one more standing pose. We're going to take a standing balance before we start to make our way a little bit lower to the ground here. Okay, so hands can be on your hips. We're going to come into tree pose today. So standing on your right foot, you can rest your left heel on your ankle and lengthen up through your spine here. You could place your foot just below your knee, so not on your knee joint. You could also take your foot and place it above your knee. And whatever variation you're in here, hands can be at heart center. Arms could be extended up. You could be goddess arms or cactus arms here. Finding a connection to your standing leg. And if you fall out, you're just going to bring your toes back down and maybe find your way back up. Connecting to your core. Hi, I'm waving with my hands, with my jazz hands. My hands look really like cartoon-like when I'm looking at them from here. It looks really weird. Anyways, that was a long time to be in tree pose, so shake it out a little bit here. All right, let's try the other side, tree pose. So standing on your left foot, you could bring your foot below your knee. Try to avoid your knee joint here, so just below or just above. If you come above, equal rooting of your foot to your leg, leg to your foot. Connect to your breath, your arm variation can be whatever you like it to be here. We'll spend a few more breaths here. When you're ready, falling out, come on out, shake it out a little bit here. And then take a moment in mountain pose again. Maybe close your eyes. Checking in again with your feet connected to the ground. Breathing up into your heart space. Notice your heart beating. Okay. So, before we come down towards the ground, we're going to come into goddess pose. So your feet will come a little wider, toes turned out. So when you come to sit down into a squat, your knees are lined up with your toes. So you can turn them out as much as you want here. Your hands can be on your upper legs. Tailbone draws down, lower belly draws in, maybe so that you can lift your upper body upright. You can pause here. You can come back to goddess arms. And if you need to, take a couple lion's breath or in through your nose and then stick out your tongue and go as you exhale. It's always a crowd favorite. Kali goddess. Lots of heat in this pose if you need to. We're going to inhale, straighten our arms, straighten our legs. On your exhale, open your mouth and stick out your tongue and go. Good. Make a little movement if you want, side to side. You can touch down. It's like, reminds me of like being a jester. Take a breath in, straighten everything out, and then good. Now we're going to straighten everything out. Arms come down, walk your feet in, shake it out a little bit if you need to. So hopefully you've had a little bit of heat. We are going to come down into squat pose today. We did this, I've done this a couple times this week. I'm feeling some hip openers in need here. So a couple options, sitting down part way here. If you have a yoga block, you can use that as a little seat. Come sit on here, and if not, you can come all the way into squat pose. Couple more breaths. If you'd like, close your eyes. When you need to come out of this pose, just make your way out. So if you're ready to come out sooner than I am, just make your way out, please. All right, when you're ready, we're going to lower down. You can extend your legs out. You can windshield wiper your feet, or you can bring your feet to the ground. Windshield wiper your knees. All right, so we're going to come into pigeon pose. So for those of you with some knee, some stuff going on with your knee, or if this pose just creates discomfort in your knee, you're going to skip it. And come onto your back for figure four instead. So for those of you coming into pigeon pose, you could start in tabletop. Start by bringing your left knee towards the left side of your mat. So same side, you don't cross your knee across your mat to the opposite side. It could be a little wider than your hip here. Now, right away, if that creates any load or pressure on your knee, you're gonna come onto your back, okay? For those of you staying in pigeon, you could lower down here if you like, or you could stay lifted up. Now, if you're coming into figure four, Your left foot comes on top of your right upper leg here. Your knee is going to maybe move forward or maybe bring your right knee into your chest. So this is figure 4, alternative to pigeon pose, okay? So we're going to hold in. So if you need to come out sooner than I cue you, please listen to your body and please do that, okay? You can always come into child's pose or down dog or come through a vinyasa. Coming back to your breath, trying to be the observer of your thoughts instead of being immersed into your thoughts. Just going to take a few more breaths on the side if you're still here with me. So as you make your way out, you could give yourself some time to release that out. It might be some circles from tabletop, could be child's pose, it could be some movement and down dog. And take some time to do that if you need a bit more time, but when you're ready, you're going to come to the other side, either figure 4 or tabletop, figure 4, pigeon pose. If you're needing to come out sooner on this side, or if you come into pigeon on this side and you notice it bothering your knee, come onto your back for figure 4 instead. Connecting to your breath. Few more breaths here. Now, if you're still in the pose, making your way out here, so finding your release, that could be if you're on tabletop, knees to chest, windshield wipering. If you're in, if you were in pigeon, downward dog, child's pose. If anyone wants to take a vinyasa here, please go ahead and do that. So we will be making our way back down towards the ground. All right. Okay. How's everybody doing? We have a little bit of time left here. I'm going to do a couple things to activate our core before we lie down. So if you're on your back, you can make your way up to your seat. So if you're sitting and it's not comfortable, you could always like fold a blanket over and sit on that. You could have your hands behind you, shoulders drawing in, chest broad. You could walk your feet in here. You can maybe lift one leg at a time if that's okay with you. Or you could lift both feet up, shoulders back. Some of you may want to grab behind your knees as long as you're not rounding here. So see if you can lift upright. Or you may be able to extend your arms out. Again, not collapsing into your lower back for boat pose. And then when you're ready, we're going to release. Hands can come behind you. You could extend your legs forward and shake it out a little bit. Or you could bring your feet to the ground, windshield wiper a bit. And coming back to the center. So this time we're going to make some movement. So if you feel like you need a bit more support, I'm going to have my hands behind me here, lifting my legs, and I'm going to extend forward and then come back in. So if you can also do this with your hands behind your knees. You could also do this with your arms extended, although your core will need to be pretty strong to do that. We're going to do 2 more here. And 1 more. And when you're ready, release, shake it out a little bit. If you'd like to come onto your back, we're going to come into bound angle posture, just opening up through our hip flexors, feet together, bottoms of your feet touch, knees come wide. Take a couple deep breaths into your lower belly, to your lower back. When you're ready, bringing your legs back together, you could bring your feet wide, windshield wiper, or you could extend your legs forward. Maybe give yourself a full body stretch here. So if you're at home and you have a yoga block, one of these guys, you can grab that. If you don't, you could always have a rolled up blanket. Some of you might have a bolster, that would work as well. And if not, you're just going to not put anything underneath your hips. And just extend your legs up. So from here, I'm going to lift my hips, place my hips on a block, or if you have a bolster or a rolled up blanket, and extend my feet, my legs up towards the ceiling. Now here, I'm going to press into my elbows, draw my shoulder blades underneath me a bit, and you can rest your arms beside you on your belly. Now I'm going to spend some time circling my ankles just for the first little bit here, but then you're just going to let your legs be. So you're trying not to have any effort by pointing or flexing your feet. You're just letting your legs be as they are. Some of you would maybe like to lift your arms up, let your arms settle here. Shoulder blades plug back in, fingers just curl in here a bit, and then connect to your breath. Some of you might want to come up into shoulder stand. I can give that as an option, but I won't be teaching shoulder stand in this forum. It's just too many considerations for people's necks and stuff. So, but like I said in the beginning, if there's parts of this you can skip. There's parts of it that you want to add on to because you know your own practice, your own ability. Please do that. As you're ready, bend your knees, and actually if you'd like to keep your legs extended for the next little bit, you can. If you have something underneath, you can keep it there if you like, and extend your feet forward, the backs of your heels resting on the floor. Big opener for your hip flexors in front of your hips. If it creates pinching into your lower back though, come on out. Couple deep breaths. And just as you're ready, feet come back to the floor. Lift your hips enough to release whatever it is underneath your hips and bring both knees up into your chest. Maybe rock a little bit here from side to side. Maybe make some gentle circles. And when you're ready, we're going to come into a twist. So feet come down to the ground. When I come into a twist, I move my hips to the opposite side. I'm going to move my knees first. So right now I'm going to move my knees to the right, but I move my hips slightly to the left first, just so that as I move my knees over, I feel like my spine's a little bit more lined up. If it's comfortable, you can extend your arms out. You can also hold your legs down with your right leg or with your right hand. If your knees and your feet don't come to the ground, just find a twist where you can even just rest your feet and maybe your bottom leg as best as you can. And when you're ready, we're going to come back to the center. And if you move your hips over to the right side so that your knees can come up and over to the left side. And you can always extend your arms out, or you can hold down your legs with your left hand. Couple deep breaths here. Ready, coming back to the center, bringing your hips back into the middle of your mat, bringing your knees back up into your chest. You could draw yourself into a tiny little ball here if you like, or some of you may want to come into happy baby pose just to lengthen out your lower back a little bit here again. Just find one last movement in the center here before we come into Shavasana. And Shavasana is our final resting pose. Traditionally, it's taken with your legs and arms extended, your feet and arms resting, your eyes closed and connecting to your breath. I do know that some people have a hard time lying on their back, so you can always lie on your side, you can lie in the front of your body. You will cool down, so if you have a sweater or a blanket or some socks or something, take a moment to get yourself ready for Shavasana and then come to lie on your back. We'll be here for about 5 minutes. This part of the practice is super key to just absorbing the practice itself and settling any last little bits of heavy energy that you might have. So find that place that you can rest and just be, and then I'll guide us out when it's time to come out. begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your body, back into the room. Maybe make some gentle movements here. You could hug your knees up into your chest, or you could give yourself a full body stretch. And when you're ready, coming to roll onto one side for a few breaths here. And when you're ready, taking your time to come up to a nice tall seat. Take a moment to come back to your breath. Bring your hands together, palms together at the center of your heart, or you could find another gesture of closing that suits you. And again, take a moment to breathe a couple deep breaths of gratitude into your heart space for showing up here at your home to do this practice. Sometimes a little bit more challenging than getting out the door and going somewhere, or maybe it's easier actually, who knows. But thank yourself for being here today and sharing this time collectively with everyone else who is practicing and breathing with us at the same time. I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up here. It's giving me such purpose to show up to my mat and bring these practices to you at this time. So thank you. I'm going to, again, seal the class with an Om. So you're more than welcome to join, and you're more than welcome to listen as well instead. We'll start with a clearing breath. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. And then inhale. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow morning. I'm going to try 8 a.m. For those of you that are early birds, join me then. If not, I will see you maybe on Thursday. I'll be back Thursday morning as well. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy today. Okay, bye.